Hi guys, it's Music Beauty Life here to show you my MAC eyeshadow collection. This is actually my full MAC collection. I didn't leave a single MAC eyeshadow inside storage because I just love my MAC shadows so much. So I even brought like my MAC palettes that I have. So let me start with those first. The first palette I have is from the Tartan collection. Of course, I had to buy some things from the Tartan collection because my husband's Scottish. So I have the Reelers and Rockers eyeshadows. And these are in, I will show you right now. It's White Rabbit, Melt Your Heart, Carbon, Family Treasures, Gaelic Gold, and Crown and Scepter, which I love that color. So now I'm just going to swatch them all for you so you can see them. So I'm just taking a little bit of a shadow primer and I'm just going to kind of pop it all over my hand. I'm probably going to do these swatches on two hands because there's a lot of colors and I don't really think I want to go down my wrist. So the first one is White Rabbit. So here we have, I've got that sunbeam on me. Ah, there we go. From left, let's see. I can't tell what side it's going to come from. So from this side, going that way, we have Crown and Scepter, Gaelic Gold, Family Treasures, Carbon, Melt My Heart, which is a beautiful silver, and White Rabbit. Just give you a little bit of a close-up of those. They're just really beautiful colors. I love Crown and Scepter. I think it is, it's just such a beautiful shade and it's perfect for people with blue eyes. I use that on clients with blue eyes all the time. And in fact, I have used this palette more on clients than any other palette that I own, and this stays in my kit. So I also have the 6 Beauties Play It Cool shadow kit. And this has in it, something is falling off of this palette. This has Silverware, Hold My Gaze, The Ball, To The Ball, Altered State, Magic More, and Heather Bells in it. So I'll just swatch those for you. So here are the swatches for the Beauties Play It Cool eyeshadows. And this is Silverware, which is a beautiful sort of lavender silver color. This is Hold My Gaze, To The Ball, which I really love this color. It's just a super pigmented sort of taupey purple. And then we have Altered State, Magic More, and Heather Bells. So Heather Bells is pretty much a black with a touch of a purple shimmer in it. I don't know if you can tell. I hope the lighting isn't ruining my videos, but there is an up-close look at that palette again. And then the other palette that I have is the MAC Wonder Woman palette. I just couldn't resist owning one with the cute packaging. So that is why I ended up getting this. And this has the Lady Justice, Insurmountable, Deep Truth, and Bold Babe. And I will just swatch them quickly on my fingers. I'm not gonna pop those. No. And these are actually probably my least favorite and least pigmented MAC shadows. So this really doesn't get very much wear. I pretty much own it exclusively because I wanted the packaging. And I purchased it online, so I hadn't actually tried them in the store. So I didn't know when I was buying them that they were going to be that way. Now the rest of my MAC shadows, excluding one that needs to be depotted, are inside my MAC cases. And I actually have a new case that isn't from MAC that I'm going to be starting to store inside. And actually, I really do just want a MAC case, I think. So I'll probably just end up grabbing another MAC case. But this is one of my favorite luster shadows. And this is called Sugar Shot. First of all, I love the name. And second of all, I love the way that it looks. It's just a beautiful shimmery champagne shade. It's great for highlighting the inner corner of your eye. It's very buildable. Just hold it back here. See that? It's just such a beautiful neutral shade. And now for the rest of the shadows, I'm not really going to swatch them all because there are just so many of them. So here is my neutral shadow palette. And it sort of has all the colors that you need to do a nice neutral eye. I have a lot of peaches because when I was shopping, I was very into these peachy tones. So I'm just going to show them to you one at a time. This is Hoax by MAC. I'm sure many of you have seen this one before. And then we have one of my favorites, Texture. This is great for giving your eye a little bit of definition without giving it too much color. I'll just show you this one just in case you haven't seen it. So that's what Texture looks like, and we'll just kind of blend it on the hand. So you can see it's very pigmented, so you only need a little bit, but it blends beautifully if you want to use that in the crease. So even though I don't love brown, I do like that a lot. Then I have Jest, which is another super popular one. And of course, Naked Lunch, which is probably in my all-time favorite. Mylar, which is a satiny off-white shade. Dazzleite, which is another one of my top favorites for MAC shadows. It's just a beautiful shimmery shadow. You've probably seen me wear it many times, and this is my third purchase of a Dazzleite shadow, so I've gone through 3. Oh, and I've gone through like a ton of the Naked Lunch. This is Vanilla. And then I have Orb, which I've been using a lot lately, but it was getting neglected for a little while. And Shroom, which is a really nice color, but I don't think I'll be repurchasing it once I hit pan. I don't love it or need it that much. I like my other neutrals more, I think. And then I have Retrospec. Goldmine. This technically isn't a MAC shadow. It is a pressed MAC pigment that I keep in there, but I'll show it to you anyways. This is MAC Universal. I have one other pressed pigment in here from MAC, actually. This is Dreammaker. And this is MAC Casablanca. This is one of my least favorite MAC colors, but I still managed to find use for it. It has a sort of yellow tone to it, like a yellowy green. I guess it's really more yellow tone to it. So I don't use it as much as I did when I first started using it. So when I was first using this color, it was probably when I was competing in pageants. And it was probably too gold to be using in my brow bone, but that is what I was using in my brow bone. And next up, we have Et Tu Bouquet, which is another one of the shadows that I don't love. It's a frost, and it doesn't actually go on smoothly. It's probably going to go on smoothly just because... No, you can still see. You can see like every little wrinkle and line sort of in my hand. It doesn't really go on smoothly, but it's like a pinky sheerness with a touch of maybe reflex orange in it, just like a touch. Maybe not orange so much, but it's a nice pinky shade. And then I have Evening Aura, which was a limited edition shadow, I believe, and this is a Velux Pearl, which I really like this shadow actually. Isn't that pretty? It's this pinky one. So I'll just show that to you again just in case it didn't zoom in. Focus. Oops. And then I have Off the Page, which is a frost. I really love this shade. It's so pretty. Since the season's color this year is orange, I'm sure I'll be getting plenty of wear out of that one. Just a very pretty, shimmery, frosty orange. And the rest are sort of peachy. This is Paradisco, which I really love. I just think it's such a fun, pretty color. This is one of my pressed pigments in here. This is MAC's Pink Bronze. And then I have Perky. Filament. Sweet Lust, which I feel like I don't use enough. I wonder why. Honesty, which I also feel like I don't use very much. Pollinator. Flip, which is a beautiful shade. And Vapor, which is a great highlight shade if you're trying to do a more dramatic look, because it is a, let me see what type of finish it is. It's a velvet finish. Sort of has like a bit of a sparkle in it and a blue tone, like a reflex blue. But I do really love this color for a highlight. So now, since I'm in the palette, I'm just taking my palette and giving it a little wipe down because obviously it gets very dusty. So what I've done with my MAC palettes is remove the plastic insert because I find that I can fit more shadows in there and I like it better that way, but a lot of people don't do that. So now we'll move on to the second palette. So the last palette I have for you is my Crazy Colored palette here, which these are all MAC shadows except for one of them is another pressed pigment. So I'm just going to show you these ones now individually. These are some of my pride and joys of my collection. I'll start with the ones that I don't really use that often, but used to use. This is Bronze. And Sable. And Crimsonette, which is a very deep burgundy. I'll swatch that for you. I like to use this as a liner when I do sort of fall-like look. So that is Crimsonette there. And the color I sort of wear that with is Star Violet. Just another very pretty color. I have Nocturnal. And Hepcat. And I absolutely love Stars and Rockets. Just such a fun, pretty color. It has like a blue reflex in it, but it's purple. I'll show it to you. Oh, there it is there. It's just such a pretty pearly color. And then I also have Idle Eyes, which was a color that I really wanted because I don't know if anybody knows this, but I was actually a finalist on Greek Idol, or almost a finalist. I was in the top 20. And so this was a color that I really wanted because while I was auditioning, because I thought it was funny to wear the eyeshadow Idle Eyes while you are trying to be like a Greek idol or an idol. So it's just such a pretty color, isn't it? And Silver Ring, which gets quite a bit of use, and I've had this color for a very long time. And the color that I pressed is MAC Family Crest, I absolutely love this color, and I use it a lot more when I have it pressed, so I'm happy that I have that pressed. And I'll just go into my basic blacks. I have Carbon, which you already saw today, but I have it in pan form so that I can bring it with me. And then Nehru, which is a matte black as well. I guess it doesn't look matte, sorry, because it had the glitter on it. There it is. And Nehru, which is a matte black. And I suppose it's less pigmented than, slightly more charcoaly than the Carbon. So you can see the Carbon is a darker black, and this has more of like a gray tone to it. So then I also have Pin Curl that I didn't really need a soft silver, but I loved the name of it. Pin Curl is just such a cute little retro name. And it is a very pretty color. This should probably be in my neutrals palette, but it just doesn't fit in there. And Sunny Spot. Burnt Orange. Golden Rod. One of my favorite shadows, Red Brick. It's a MAC Pro shade, but I love this color. I use it so much. So if you can find a shadow like this or this specific one, I would totally recommend getting it. It's a great way to mix up a smoky eye. To put a little bit of a burnt orange or a rusty red in there. And then this is Passionate, which I have not used more than a couple times, but I do really like it. It's a very pretty color. Going into my greens, which are so, so pretty, I have Shimmer Moss. It's just so pretty. And Steamy. Just like a peacocky, turquoisey blue. Luster Leaf, which I really love. It's such a pretty color. Green Smoke, which I think is an essential for anybody that, number one, likes smoky eyes, and number two, is sort of starting their MAC makeup kit. This is a really, really great crease color. It's just this sort of smoky green, and it's just, I think it's a great basic to have in your collection. It looks good on everybody. And then I've got a couple of blues, Tilt and Winkle, which is a super bright matte blue. So those are the shadows.